9 brave CSM members journeyed halfway around the world in search of the amazing marine life in the Lembeh Straits to bring you this presentation. Material for this presentation was a joint effort with photos from many of the divers on this trip. The Lembeh Strait is a world-famous scuba diving destination located in the North Sulawesi province of Indonesia. The Lembeh Strait is a narrow passage that separates the island of Lembeh from the mainland of Sulawesi. It's a fairly shallow channel that runs about 9.3 miles with a maximum depth of about 328 feet. And it has many different dive sites. The strait is overlooked by Mount Kiblat at its north end. On this trip, we stayed at the NAD Lembeh Resort, which is a popular dive resort location on the Lembeh Island. It's well known for its beautiful accommodations and excellent service. The resort has 17 cottages and villas that are nestled in a lush tropical garden, offering a peaceful and serene environment for guests. Each accommodation is designed with modern amenities and has a private balcony or terrace with beautiful views of the sea or garden. There was a dive master / gritter finder for every 2 divers. I doubt that I would have seen even 20% of what I was able to see during these dives if it had not been for our dive master, Oppo. I suspect that might be true for most of us on this trip. It was truly concierge diving, and the boat staff took care of all of the diving equipment and helped you get on and off the boat. The package included 26 dives, and with the help of some GPS location data, these are the actual dive sites we drove during this trip. Most of the dives were muck dives and were a short boat ride from the resort. On first impressions, I, like many divers when they first go to the Lembeh Straits, I traveled halfway around the world for this? However, the Lembeh Strait is renowned for its muck diving, a type of diving that involves exploring the sand or muddy seabed to discover small, camouflaged or cryptic creatures that are often overlooked by other divers. The nutrient-rich substrata in the Lembeh Strait provides a perfect environment for a wide range of small and unusual critters, which include seahorses, pipefish, shrimp, crabs, and various types of cephalopods. Most, if not all, of our dives had a very similar dive profile, where you start out with sand, and then rubble, sometimes some debris, and then a fair amount of silt. Muck diving requires really good fin control so as to not kick up the sand or silt for all of the other divers. During our trip, we did take a 1-day break from muck diving and took a 2.5-hour boat ride up to Bunaken Island. And here are the 3 dive sites that we dove while up at Bunaken Island. There we had a much more typical dive environment with some really beautiful corals. The really exciting part of muck diving is the amazing diversity of marine life you cannot see anywhere else. This is an ambon scorpionfish. As you can tell, many of the animals you're going to see that we discovered while muck diving are really quite small. There were also some fairly traditional scorpionfish, such as this raggy scorpionfish and this devil scorpionfish. A unique scorpionfish found in Lembeh is the Rhinopius, also known as the paddle flap scorpionfish. A close relative to the scorpionfish is the lionfish. In Lembeh, you're going to see the traditional common red lionfish, which has become an invasive species in the Caribbean. However, you're also going to see long-spine lionfish, and then the short fin lionfish. These are less common, and the short fin lionfish have these beautiful fan-like fins. Another rather unique fish found in the Lembeh Straits is the cockatoo wasp fish. These are also a part of the scorpionfish family. They are known as a leaf fish, as they often resemble a leaf swaying in the water. Stealth is how they ambush their prey. They get their name because of the large dorsal fin, which, when spread out, gives the appearance of a cockatoo. The thorns on the dorsal fin are venomous, which is their primary defense mechanism. Cockatoo fish cannot swim well. That's why they're often called a leaf fish, in that they tend to gently sway back and forth from side to side the way a dead leaf would. If they must swim somewhere, they tend to do so slowly, bouncing along with the help of their enormous pectoral fins. There are many frogfish of every size, but one of the most difficult to find and sort of the holy grail of frogfish in the Lembeh Strait is the hairy frogfish. There are also many different painted frogfish. Frogfish move very slowly, but ironically, when they go to capture their prey, they have the fastest strike speed of any animal on Earth. Frogfish have a very unique way of moving through the water. They swim by gulping water through their enormous mouth, then force the water through their gills. The body moves very slowly as frogfish huff and puff their way through the water column. On the sea floor, frogfish often walk on their pectoral fins. Another real master of disguise is the robust ghost pipefish. They often swim with their heads down, so they look more like a plant than they do like a fish. These are called ornate ghost pipefish. Some of the oddest looking creatures are the flathead fish. They have a broad, flattened head with a large mouth that is filled with sharp teeth. The flathead fish can grow up to a maximum of 70 centimeters, but typically are around 30 to 40 centimeters. Now, a very particular type of flathead fish is called the stargazer. is known for its unique hunting behavior, where it buries itself in the sand with only its eyes and mouth visible. Now, our dive guide used a small squeeze bottle like a photographer uses to blow the sand off of this buried stargazer. Now, it typically waits for its prey, such as a small fish or a crustacean, to come close before quickly swallowing them whole. Now, the Indonesian stargazer is also able to generate an electric shock to stun its prey or to deter predators. Flying grenards, also known as helmet grenards, are typical bottom-dwelling fish. But if you're fortunate enough to see them with their wings spread, you'll see their semi-transparent and somewhat phosphorescent bright blue coloration. One of the most fascinating aspects of marine life in the Lembeh Straits is the relationship between different types of marine life. A great example of this is the shrimp goby. Now, the goby lives in a symbiotic relationship with pistol shrimp. The goby and the shrimp share a burrow in the sand. Because pistol shrimp are blind, the goby acts as a lookout and will warn the shrimp if any danger approaches by flicking its tail. The shrimp, in turn, provide the goby with a safe home and food scraps. There are several different species of shrimp gobies. Other members of the goby family include the lemon goby with its big eyes that make it super cute and a photography favorite. One of the smallest of the goby family is this bubble coral goby. Gobies are famous for making a home in the strangest of places. Here are some amazing photos of a whip goby, also known as a long whip goby or a flat tail goby. Now, it's a very small fish that reaches a maximum length of about 6 centimeters. Its body is elongated and slender, and it often has a pointed head and a long whip-like tail. One of the flashiest of the gobies is the fire goby, also known as the dart goby. A goby somewhat unique to the Lembeh Straits is the finger dragonet. It's a relative of the mandarin fish, and it has iridescent blue and purple coloration along its fin. Some of the more common fish that you can also see in Lembeh include the longhorn cowfish, this juvenile spiny box puffer, and a Bristol filefish. This cute little critter is called the double-lined clingfish. There are many different types of cardinal fish in Lembeh. This is the pajama cardinal fish. The Bangai cardinal fish are a beautiful and unique fish that is native to the Bangai Islands that are near Sulawesi, Indonesia. However, the story of the Bangai cardinal fish in the Lembeh Strait is that they're not supposed to be there. They were introduced accidentally by an exporter who dumped a batch of fish into the harbor when he missed his shipping deadline. The fish escaped their nets and found a suitable home within the Lembeh Strait, where they have thrived and multiplied. Now they're one of the most common fish in Lembeh and can be seen in almost every dive site. not everyone is happy about the presence of the Bangai cardinal fish in Lembeh. Some people argue that they're an invasive species and may compete with or prey on the native fish and disrupt the ecological balance of the strait. Various types of anemones and anemone fish were found throughout the Lembeh Strait. On the top left, we have a Clark's anemone. To the top right is an orange razorback. In the lower left, we have a tomato anemone, also sometimes called a spine cheekum anemone. And then in the lower right, we have the most famous of all, the clown anemone. I want to thank Tommy Coe, who put together this very entertaining video clip of cuttlefish.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and color but of mind. A journey into a wondrous world whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Lembeh Strait. The Lembeh Strait in Indonesia is inside the Coral Triangle. So it's not surprising that in our 9 days diving in these waters, we encountered many variety of cuttlefish in various stages of development. Cuttlefish are cephalopods. They are relatives of octopus, squid, and the mysterious nautilus. They have existing in the ocean for more than 500 million years. They are considered some of the most intelligent invertebrate on Earth. Like their cousin, the octopus. Cuttlefish are master at camouflage and can change the color and structure of their skin in the blink of an eye. They are mesmerizing to behold. We dare you not to get hypnotized by these beautiful creatures.
There was also an amazing variety of pipefish and eels. Here is a winged pipefish, a striped pipefish, and a ringed pipefish. There was a wide variety of top coral pipefish. This beauty is a mesmate pipefish. These thread pipefish, also known as Rummagan's pipefish, are an incredible find because they're almost impossible to see. These pipefish are about the width of a human hair. We also saw a variety of different types of eels, including this saddleback eel. This is a Napoleon snake eel. Here's a wonderful close-up of a garden eel. Ribbon eels start off male and black in color, and then they turn blue as they begin to approach maturity. At full maturity, they become female and mostly yellow in color. We saw several seahorses in Lembeh, both common and spiny. But the most beautiful and the most difficult to photograph are the pygmy seahorses. They are so well camouflaged that they were not even discovered until 1969, when researchers were collecting fan corals for a museum in New Caledonia. When back at the museum, they discovered the pygmy seahorses under close inspection. So speaking of tiny things, there was an amazing variety of shrimp in Lembeh. This is a Coleman shrimp, also known as a fire urchin shrimp, because they are exclusively found on fire urchin. They belong to the commensal shrimp family and are usually in pairs, the larger one being the female. The host fire urchin spines do not harm the shrimp, but they will usually clear an area on the urchin where they will perch. They feed on parasites, algae, and plankton. This unusual looking fellow is a Donald Duck shrimp, although apparently it has a bit of an identity crisis, because you will also find him listed under a carroted shrimp, a crocodile shrimp, a long nose shrimp, a long snout shrimp, a plumed rock shrimp, a plum shrimp, or a rock shrimp. Our dive guides also created a few photo ops. Here are some harlequin shrimp artfully placed on some brightly colored starfish. No harlequin shrimp were injured in the production of these photographs, but I can't promise that they weren't annoyed. There were several different types of mantis shrimp. These three are tiger mantis, red mantis, and golden mantis. Mantis shrimp have the most complex eyes. Each eye contains 12 photoreceptors that allow them to see colors that humans don't even have names for. To put this in perspective, human eyes have only 3 types of photoreceptors, allowing us to see green, red, and blue. They also have something called trinocular vision, which allows them to see one object using 3 parts of their eye. The mantis shrimp takes in all visual information at once without processing it, which allows them to react to their environment as quickly as possible. The emperor shrimp belongs to the commensal shrimp family. These colorful little crustaceans can be found usually walking around on the back of large sea slugs, or, in this case, a sea cucumber. Now they have a commensal symbiosis with their host, which means that although they benefit from their hosts, they have no negative impact on the host, although they may not actually benefit their hosts. In this photo, the large red emperor shrimp is female, where the orange, significantly smaller one is male. Boxer shrimp and banded coral shrimp belong to the cleaner shrimp family. They are extremely beneficial to their aquatic partners, cleaning fish of parasites and other dead tissue. Another member of the cleaner shrimp family is the caridin shrimp. This group of shrimp are almost exclusively found on an anemone and include the popcorn shrimp, the boxer shrimp, the anemone cleaner shrimp, and then the peacock-tailed anemone shrimp. And of course we can't leave out the sexy shrimp. Here we have a tiger shrimp and a crinoid shrimp. This minute little fellow is a bubble coral shrimp, and next to it is another crinoid shrimp. There are also many different types of crabs in the Lembeh Strait. Carrier crabs will typically carry a small urchin on their back for protection because the urchin is poisonous. Although I'm not exactly sure what this second carrier crab is carrying. Crinoid squat lobsters are more closely related to hermit crabs than they are lobsters. They have a symbiotic relation with the crinoids in which they live on, which provides them with protection and food. They are very small, usually around 2 centimeters in length, and have variable coloration in order to match their hosts. Hermit crabs will often live in discarded shells. Crabs will often bury themselves in the sand with only their eye stalks exposed. The orangutan crab, so named because of the shape of their front legs, is related to spider crabs and decorator crabs. A pink squat lobster is a type of flattened crustacean with a long tail that's often curled under its body. It lives on sponges or coral and rocky reefs. It's about 1.4 centimeters or about a half an inch in length. The candy crab is a very colorful crab that grows from about 1.5 to 2 centimeters. It lives on various forms of soft coral. It camouflages itself by mimicking the colors of the polyps among which it hides. It can add further camouflage by attaching polyps to its carapace. Here is a wonderful photograph of a porcelain crab. Another crab adapted to its host is the whip coral xeno crab. The hydroid decorator crab also known as the pom-pom crab, is a small species of crab. It has a distinctive appearance with a furry, moss-like covering on its body that it obtains by picking up small, stinging hydroids and attaching them to its exoskeleton. Another soft coral crab is the spotted porcelain crab. Here is another decorator crab and a zebra urchin crab. Some of the most amazing animal behavior we saw was while watching octopus. So here I'm going to be showing you a few photographs, but mostly videos of the various types of octopus we saw while in the Lembeh Straits. This is an algae octopus. Now watch as it changes its shape and color to almost perfectly match its surroundings. One of the most amazing and difficult to find is the tiny blue-ringed octopus. But don't let their small size fool you. They are one of the deadliest creatures in the entire ocean. This tiny blue-ringed octopus has enough venom to kill 26 adults. Fortunately for us, blue-ringed octopus are typically not aggressive and only use their venom in self-defense. There have been very few instances of humans actually being harmed by a blue-ringed octopus. Another amazing octopus is the coconut octopus. They often will create a home by living in discarded coconuts, but they will also gather various seashells to try and build a home. One of the largest octopus we saw is an Indonesian long-armed octopus. In this first video, you're just going to see how large these octopus actually are. In the second video, you'll see some amazing animal behavior where two long-armed octopus battle it out. One of the most fascinating cephalopods in the Lembeh Strait is the mimic octopus. They disguise themselves by mimicking the behavior of as many as 15 different marine animals, such as a lionfish, a sea snake, or a poisonous flatfish. The wonderpuss was so named because of its beauty. It can flash its colors in what looks like a strobe. Its Latin name is Wonderpuss photogenicus. This poor wonderpuss is being double-teamed. If you like nudibranch, the Lembeh Strait is a must on your destination list. The word nudibranch comes from the Latin nudus, naked, and the ancient Greek branchia, gills, referring to the breathing apparatus on the outside of their soft bodies. They are part of the sea slug family. Now, most sea slugs will have a reduction or a complete lack of external shell. Nudibranchs have lost their external shells altogether, and have various forms of exposed secondary gills that they use for breathing. But not all sea slugs wear their gills on the outside of their bodies. Therefore, all nudibranchs are sea slugs, but not all sea slugs are nudibranchs. Nudibranchs come in all shapes and sizes, some of them as large as the palm of your hand, and some of them incredibly small. Nudibranchs have little to no vision, but they do have rhinophores that can detect olfactory clues in the water around them. Just as land-based creatures may smell the air to taste potential food, these chemical clues are how nudibranchs find food and find mates. I have provided the Latin name for each of the different types of nudibranch we discovered while diving in the Lembeh Strait, but I'm not going to try and pronounce all of the Latin. Altogether, we found 30 different species of nudibranch during this one trip. And here are some sea slugs without exposed bronchia. And this concludes our presentation from some amazing diving in the Lembeh Straits.